Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you 7 design tips to get your t-shirts to stand out. And this is very important, especially on print-on-demand sites where you're competing with each other. You want your t-shirt designs to stand out. So I'm going to make it super easy. Going to be a quick video and I'm going to show you examples on how to use these things. You're going to want to take notes. I've been seeing these all over year after year. I've been doing this for a long time and I think some of these can help you get your t-shirts to go from simple to something that will stand out and get some eyeballs on it, and hopefully somebody will click on it and you'll get some sales. So let's get into the thing that I prepared here with lots of examples from Amazon so you can see how these things work. All right, so here we go. The first one that I want to talk about is text effects. So you'll notice these are different examples of how to do text effects. You don't actually have to put a text on a path or bend the text, although that is part of this. You can do this in Kiddo and Canva, but I wanted to show you some other ones that you may not have thought about for text effects. So you could use some funky, fun fonts like this one right here. You can see this is a sort of text effect where this S is coming out really big here, and this just looks like a different way to design it. Graffiti fonts or handmade drawn fonts are great. You could also do things on top of the text. So you got this rabbit instead of the A here, and it kind of just draws your eye. These things help people or help your design stand out and draw the eye to these, right? You're looking and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't the text that I know. Or here, oh wait, that's a rabbit instead of an A, right? And here, this one is some text effects with some patterns in each of the letters. Isn't that interesting? So this helps draw the eye to this design as well. So multiple ways to do this text effects. The most common one again is the art text or the text on a wave or a text on a path, but you can use some of these other examples as well for text effects to make your design stand out. So the next one I want to share with you is asymmetrical balance. So balance is having the same, like on the right and on the left and on the top and on the bottom, kind of a mirror image. But this is arranging it in a way that it's not exactly balanced. So arrange elements unevenly on purpose to create interest. So I'll show you some examples here. So these shark faces right here, you'll notice there's a big shark in the middle. They're not all aligned in the right way. And so your eye comes here and like, whoa, what is this big shark right here? And then you see all these little sharks, right? This example, you've seen this before where they cut the thing in half. So on one side, it's a picture, but on the other side, it's letters or words, and so those are different. They're not mirror images, they're different on each side. And when you create your graphics like this, you'll notice this one is bigger than this one, so if you cut this in half, it's not the same mirror image. You got the sun that's smaller than the earth. So find out or try ways when you create your graphics on your t-shirt to make it just a little bit off, not exactly the same on both sides, and I think that can help create some interest to get people to stop and look at your t-shirts and potentially click on it and buy it. Now you may have noticed these also do text effects. So at least this one right here, Earth Day, is a text effect around the rainbow right here. And it's using some text effects with shadows and fun fonts and stuff. And we'll get into some of the other things that these are using in the next ones. So the third thing that you can use to help your design stand out is contrast in size. So use bigger and smaller graphics together in a design. I'll show you some examples here. So we have a big graphic here, but we have small squiggly lines here to help. And you'll notice even the font on this one, the captain is bigger than this phrase right here on the bottom. So we're using contrast in size to create interest. Same thing with this. When you just have a text design, you can make some words bigger, some words smaller, and you'll notice it's using contrast in size, as well as some other techniques to make this stand out. And here's some other ones on this side. We already talked about the asymmetrical, but this is using asymmetrical with some smaller contrast in size. So we got some little graphics here, little font here, bigger fonts here, and then a bigger ball here. So all of these have contrasting in size, big and little, to create interest to get people to click on your t-shirt or at least stop the scroll and look at your t-shirt. The fourth one is repetition. You may have seen this a lot as well. This is a classic example in the middle here where it says teacher, teacher, teacher. It's using the repeat words in here to kind of create interest. Here's one where it's not just the word, so it says boogity, boogity, boogie. And then so that's kind of cool, right? Your mind kind of recognizes this repetition and kind of draws the eye to here. So this one also is creating interest with a graphic. So it's repeating the hearts, boom, boom, boom. Now each heart's a little bit different, but it's kind of almost the opposite of the asymmetrical with the repetition. Sometimes it can be a mirror image of the top and the bottom. So, but because there's some differences in the flags, your mind's trying to figure out like, what is this flag or what is this thing, right? So I think this can help with getting people to stop and scroll and make it look different than everything else on the page. Now you're going to want to use these sparingly. I didn't mention this before. Now if everybody's doing repetition on there, then you're going to want to use some of the other things that we're talking about in this so that yours stands out. And when there's a whole bunch of repetition ads or t-shirts on there, then yours that are doing something else will stand out. So that's what you want to look at. Look at your competition and figure out which one of these 2 or 3 that can you mix in with your design to help give your shirt a better chance of standing out. Number 5 is an interesting one, and that is emotion. So you want to put emotion into the characters that you have on your t-shirts. So a lot of times they're cats. So I found 2 cats ones here. So this one has an emotion, right? He's surprised that he sees a UFO here. Look at that face. Of course, that's going to stop the scroll. You'll also see that this is asymmetrical. So we have the cat on the left, but I mean on the right, but nothing on the left, right? So it's asymmetrical, and the UFO is on this side. So that's kind of an interesting thing here. You have emotion with asymmetrical. Same with this one here. This one has emotion in all of the cartoons, but this one's kind of afraid, the afraid emotion, but it's also using the asymmetrical. Look at that. So it's on the left top, this is on the right bottom, right? So really neat. This one right here is also has an emotion. Look at that face. And I think that's really good. It kind of stops the scroll and makes you want to look, and that's great. Instead of just having a normal cartoon cat with a guitar, you have this cat right here. He's kind of almost yelling the lyrics. You can kind of feel the emotion he has when he's playing the guitar here. So use graphics with emotion to create an emotional response from the people that are buying. They'll stop the scroll, they'll look at this and either think it's cute or funny or whatever it is, and may want to buy it. So you can use this. I think it's a great one. One of the most powerful ones in this top 7 is emotion. So learn to use this, especially if you have a character like a cat or a cartoon, to use it. Now it's not going to work with everything, and you can use emotion with text. I didn't show it here, but try to use that. It's easier to see here with faces. So number 6 is texture. So you might have seen texture on a lot of these things, and this is another way to have it stand out. If there's everything on the page or all the results don't have textures and yours does, that can help you stand out. You can add texture to give it just a different look. You can see this one right here. It is just a video game controller, but it has some texture on it. And it's also asymmetrical, we notice. So if you cut this in half, there are bunny ears on both sides, but look, there's 2 kinds of eggs on this side, so different color eggs. So it's kind of doing this kind of the same thing. And it's also big and small, right? Creating that contrast of size. Here's one that's also kind of asymmetrical, right? So we got a bigger wave and stuff on this side, with the head on the right side here. It's kind of moving in that direction, but it has that textured look to make it feel old. Here's one again with the planet. It has that texture on it, and it's using movement. He has emotion. He has big and small, right? Go Planet is bigger. Also using text effects, it's going around. So sometimes you can use a bunch of these things to make your t-shirt stand out and give it a good chance of getting some sales. So texture is a good one. I know Kiddo can put textures on it. We can do that in Affinity Designer. I have a bunch of videos on how to put texture into your designs. Can look through that, but it's a really easy way to get your designs to stand out. If you already have your designs on there, add some texture to it. And especially if nobody else is using texture in that same search results, try adding texture to get yours to stand out, or give it a vintage feel. Okay, last one is movement. I think I might have mentioned this by accident a few times, but you'll see a lot of them. We'll go back and see how many of them actually had movement in here. So you can use movement in a bunch of different ways. You can see this one is showing drips, and so it feels like the drips are falling down, movement. This one looks as if he's actually eating the ramen. So it has that movement here. It also has some scary eyes with emotion. And this one obviously has some movement like a truck is moving and going with fire. So you notice some of these also have some other elements that we talked about. So asymmetrical. So there's a bat on this side, and the other side's down on here, and we got asymmetrical colors. Is not actually doing the same on both sides. Same thing here. Bigger head here, name here. We got big and small as well, so we got some small writings here. We got text effects on this one here. So you can see a lot of these can be used together to just get your eyes to go to the design. So hopefully these are really helpful. I'm going to go back through them backwards again, and let's see if we can see any with movement or some of the other things. So we got texture here. This one kind of has movement with the waves here and movement here. You got this one, movement, right? He's running, and it kind of feels like he's moving, like he's gonna move his head. And this thing here, emotion. So repetition here, don't really have anything with movement, but we're using a bunch of different things here. Repetition as well as asymmetrical, because this is different on both sides and different colors. That's another way to stand out, which I didn't put on here. But contrast in size here, we got some movement on this one. Asymmetrical again, because the pipe's on this side, right? It does look like it's almost the same on this side, but then the pipe is breaking that, so it gives it interest. Asymmetric is a good one. This is a really cool one to add to it. They kind of look like they're walking, like movement. And here's the last one, text effects. So hopefully all these 7 really help. You can write them down. I'll make a list for it in my digital download so you can see that. But I think these 7 can really help you get your designs to stand out. And of course, don't copy these designs. I'm not saying to copy these, but copy the idea of these. The text effects, the asymmetrical balance, the contrast in size, the repetition, the emotion, the texture, and the movement. And I think that will really help your designs go from ordinary to something that will stand out and get people to stop scrolling and click on it. All right, so there you go. Those are the 7 big tips to help your design stand out. Use those as you want. You don't have to use all of them at the same time, but you can use 1 or 2 or 3 in there and get your designs to stand out. Now, if you're looking for ways to lay out your designs with text, I have this video right here with my 25 layouts, more layouts. I actually have 25 plus those 25, which is 50. So you have 50 different ways to lay out text with your designs, and then add these different things to stand out. I think it can make your designs pop and get people to stop. So thanks again for watching. And as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.